Armando and the Blue Tarp School by Edith Hope Fine and Judith Pinkerton Josephson. Illustrated by Hernan Sosa. This is Armando. And Armando goes to a school, but it's very different from our school. He lives in a part of the world where there's no schools or teachers, but his teacher, Senor David, helps children learn to read and write without a school building like ours. Armando only wants a chance to learn when the story begins. For the amazing David Lynch and the many supporters of Responsibility Incorporated. To my wife, Robin, without whom there is no color. All day, Armando and Papa had worked at the dump, picking through trash. Now they trudged down the rocky hillside. Afternoon sunlight shone on broken glass, rickety fences, and tumble-down houses in their colonia, their neighborhood. Pa-beep, pa-beep! A truck horn blared from below. Armando pointed. Mira, look, Papa, it's Senor David from last summer. Papa was silent for a moment. Then he said, You can go, just this once. Armando hurried down the gravelly path to tell his friend Isabella the news. Off they ran, down the dirt road, across the wobbly plank, and past the big rock. What can you tell about Armando and Papa and their community already just by looking at the pictures? Looks like maybe they don't have a lot there. They were working at the dump, the place where people throw things away. I think those are broken glass and rickety fences and tumble-down houses. Senor David, you're back, said Armando. My friends, mis amigos, I've missed you, said Senor David, spreading a big tarp on the ground. Your school, Armando said. I remember. The first time Senor David called his blue tarp a school, Armando hadn't understood. He thought schools had walls, floors, and roofs. But Senor David said a school could be anywhere, even on a tarp in a colonia. Ready to learn more? Asked Senor David. See, the children shouted. Yes. Now you might know what a blue tarp is. We use them around here for covering things and keeping things dry. They're usually waterproof. Sometimes I spread one on the ground when I have a delivery of rocks or dirt to be dumped on my driveway. Sometimes you might put it underneath a tent to go camping so the ground doesn't get your tent wet. All sorts of different uses for a tarp, and this guy uses it for a school. Nearby, scrawny chickens pecked at the dirt. Hen, said Senor David. He flapped his arms. Brock, brock, brock. La gallina. Hen, said the children. They flapped their arms too. Brock, brock, brock. On his chalkboard, Senor David wrote the letters of the alphabet. The children called out letters in Spanish and English, then practiced words they had learned last year. House, la casa. Boy, el muchacho. Girl, la muchacha. Very good, muy bien, said Senor David. We'll work hard this summer, but we'll have fun too. Armando couldn't wait. That night, Armando ate slowly. At last, he asked if he could go to school on Senor David's blue tarp. Papa frowned. Do not fill your head with dreams of school. I went last year, said Armando. You are older now, said Papa. I wish things could be different, but we are pepenadores, trash pickers. You must do the work of our family. Mama added, Your sisters are small. I need to stay here with them. The money you and Papa earn helps us live. Tears stung Armando's eyes. More than anything, he wanted to learn, but he knew Papa and Mama were right. Later, Armando sat on his thin mattress. With a stubby pencil, he sketched a picture of Senor David's truck. As Papa and Armando neared the dump the next morning, the foul smell grew stronger and stronger. Rumbling trash trucks backed up. Eep, eep, eep. Out tumbled heaps of garbage. Workers rushed forward to tear at boxes and rip open plastic bags. Flocks of squawking seagulls circled and dove, fighting over bits of rotting food. Armando searched for bottles and cans, clothes and toys, some to sell, some to use. In one tattered bag, he found shiny buttons and silvery thread. From another, he pulled a smudged notebook and a dented tin of paints. These he kept. Armando mopped his sweaty face and swatted at buzzing flies. What was Senor David teaching now, he wondered. What are you thinking about Armando and what his thoughts are of working at the dump? Do you think he's enjoying himself, or is he dreaming of something different? By the time Armando and Papa headed for home, the sun had dipped low, painting the sky red. Hearing the gate squeak, Isabella raced over to share what she had learned at school. Words covered her paper. La rana is frog, she said. We hopped with Senor David. We said, cruah, cruah, and ribbit, ribbit. Armando's shoulders drooped. I wish I could go with you. I know, said Isabella, but I'll bring you new words. I promise. After Isabella left, Armando copied her words into his notebook. Then he made a picture for each one. Before he went to sleep, he put his notebook and paints with the other treasures on the ledge above his bed. Every day Armando worked at the dump, and every day he longed to be sitting on the blue tarp. One evening, Papa said, People are talking about Senor David's school. Armando's stomach flip-flopped. We have always been pepinadores, Papa went on, but learning is important. It could help you find different work when you grow up. Maybe in the city. So Mama and I decided you may leave the dump early for school. But the money, said Armando. Somehow we will manage. Gracias, Papa, thank you. Armando hurried outside to tell Isabella. They whooped with joy. Why do you think Armando's father changed his mind? From then on, Armando worked mornings with Papa. Each afternoon, Armando and Isabella walked down the dirt road, across the wobbly plank, and past the big rock to Senor David's school. Sometimes the lessons were easy. Sometimes they were hard. But soon the children could write sentences and do numbers. They sang songs, played games, and drew pictures. Below a drawing of red flowers, Armando wrote, La rosa huelen bien. Roses smell nice. By a girl jumping rope, he wrote, Isabella salta. Isabella jumps. One day, a cow lumbered by. Hola, vaca, said Armando. Moo, moo. Hello, cow, said Senor David. Moo, moo. Cows give milk. La leche. Cows give milk, echoed the children. Another day, Armando sketched a fat pig snuffling through the garbage. Great pig! Tremendo cerdo, said Senor David. Then Armando showed him a painting he had made of a tall man with brown hair and a mustache. On it, he had written, Mi amigo, my friend. Is that me? Asked Senor David. Si, said Armando. Gracias, mi amigo, said Senor David. He shook Armando's hand. Week after week, Armando wrote, drew, and painted. Soon, words, sentences, and bright pictures filled his notebook. What do you think his drawing means to Senor David? How do you think that made him feel? One night, the smell of smoke jolted Armando awake. Winds howled. Wood crackled. Fuego! Fuego! People shouted, Fire! Fire! Mama and Papa gathered the children and ran from the house. Flames roared through the colonia. Papa rushed to help. Men slapped at the fire with wet blankets. They threw buckets of water. Safe on the hillside, Mama hugged the children close. Heart thudding, Armando watched as a wall of greedy flames swallowed up his house. At dawn, hot ashes smoldered. Many houses had burned. Armando stared at the patch of ground where his family's home had stood. Nothing was left. Senor David put his hand on Armando's shoulder. Your words and drawings? Todo está perdido, said Armando in a small voice, or sad voice. All gone. I'm sorry. Lo siento, said Senor David. 2 days later, the scent of smoke still hung in the air. Senor David and the children gathered on his blue tarp. What a hard time for you, mis amigos, he said. No lessons today. Let's just draw. Armando colored orange and red flames, black smoke, and frightened faces. As the children worked, a car drove up. Please welcome our visitors, Senor David said. They're writing a story about the fire in our school for the city newspaper. The photographer snapped pictures. The reporter scribbled notes. When she spotted Armando's drawing, she asked to borrow it. Armando wondered why. He glanced at Senor David. Go ahead, Armando, he said. It's okay. What do you think might happen here? Why would they want that drawing? The next day, Senor David held up a newspaper. Look, mira, he said. Armando's eyes grew wide. On the front page was his drawing of the fiery night. His picture, for everyone to see. The children cheered. Armando grinned. Senor David gave him a copy of the paper to show Mama and Papa. Later that week came another surprise. When a kind woman in the city saw Armando's painting and read the story, she sent money to build a school. Where? Asked Armando. Right where our blue tarp school has been, said Senor David. Armando closed his eyes, imagining how the school would look. Over the next week, Senor David and Papa built a new house for Armando's family from fence boards, chicken wire, and old garage doors. They helped other families rebuild too. Whenever people could, they worked on the school. They mixed cement and smoothed out a floor. They sawed wood and pounded nails to build 4 walls and a sturdy roof. Light poured in where the windows would go. At last, the school was finished. The children crowded inside, chattering and pointing. They darted from benches to tables to books with colorful pictures. Isabella ran her fingers over the braided blue rug. It's like our blue tarp, she said. Then Armando spotted a wooden easel spattered with paint. Your papa brought that, said Senor David. Armando's eyes sparkled. Papa wanted him here, learning and painting. Ever since the first bubbeep of Senor David's truck horn, Armando had longed for such a place to learn, a place to grow, a place for friends. Armando flung his arms wide. Words tumbled out. I am happy from here to the sky. And these are some pictures of the author and a note about him. That this story is fiction, but it's based in fact. So this is like a story that happened when he went to another country. And that country was Mexico. We've heard of Mexico a lot, and we have some people in our classroom whose families are from Mexico. Maybe they were even born there. Our author visited there, and he learned about teaching the kids that lived in these colonias. So this story is fiction, but it is a very realistic kind of fiction because it's similar to what he experienced when he was there. I hope you like this book. I feel like this is a really special one.